Hello Internet, and welcome to chapter 52. This is the first podcast of 2020. My name is Steph, I'm your host, and I am podcasting to you from Dayton, Ohio. It is January 5th, Sunday, much later than I had planned because I've been selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and the last thing I just sold was my dining room table and chairs, and the person that originally wanted it just never showed up. So that was really cool. And she was like, yeah, I'm waiting for a truck, blah, blah, blah. And then after 2.5 hours after the time that we said, I was like, hey, it's been 2.5 hours. Like, are you getting it or not? And she goes, no. So then another person, basically I put it back on the market, and another person messaged me within like literally a minute, said that she would come by within an hour, and she did. She picked it up, brought, I want to say it was her grandkids, but done. So I have a piece of furniture out of my apartment, which is exciting. If you're new to the podcast, I'm moving. That is why I'm trying to get rid of some of my furniture. I'm moving from Dayton, Ohio to Columbus, Ohio. So not a terribly big move, but it is bigger than moving within Dayton, which is what I've done the last 2 moves. So it's a lot easier, you know, when you're only going max 20 miles from where you live. The first move I was literally less than 2 miles away. So it was so easy to shuttle stuff back and forth. Excuse me. The second move was definitely a little bit more time consuming. It was about a half an hour between the 2 apartments. And then this move will be over an hour away. So I'm doing the whole moving boxes and probably hiring a moving company because fingers crossed the apartment that I'm hoping to sign tomorrow. It's in a really old building. I think they said it's from 1905. It used to be a business, corporate something, I'm not sure. But so it's one building, and I will end up having to get furniture and stuff through a service elevator, so I'm not really sure about that. So I think I'm just gonna hire someone to do that for me. So yeah, that's what's really on the horizon for me. Maybe we'll talk about that stuff later. This is going to be a long podcast. I can already tell. I haven't podcasted in a month. I was gonna do it right before Christmas, and then life just got hectic. I'm gonna take the tea bag out of my tea. 1 second. All right, so I have tons of notes. They take up the whole page and then a sticky note. And I stopped putting spaces in between like I normally do because I was running out of space. We're not gonna do Smaug's Trove because yes, I have stuff for Smaug's Trove. I'll do like a tiny bit. My local yarn store I have a bunch. Dayton actually has a lot. I was looking at a map. Cincinnati has maybe 2 or 3. Dayton has like 6 or something. So there is a lot of yarn stores in Dayton. I haven't even been to all of them. I've been to most of them. But my favorite one is closed now. They're an online shop. So I went one final time to buy all the Brooklyn tweed that I could. Because when are you gonna get it for that price? Probably never. Okay, so let's just jump in, or should I give an overview of what we're talking about? Maybe? Do you care? I don't know. We'll do current quests, we'll do completed quests, we'll do a tiny bit of Smaug's Trove, and we will recap the Make 9 of 2019, and we'll talk about the Make 9 of 2020. We will also do a novel idea where I talk about the books, and then my bookish goals. I have additional knitting goals. I'll talk about a couple of them, but I don't know. This is just gonna get real long. This intro is already 5 minutes, so let's just get started. So for completed quests, it has been a month. One of those completed quests I have already gifted. So I don't have it anymore. I do have the pattern though, so I can pull that out. It is the Hallis cap, column stitch cap. So I made this for my mom and I knit it out of the Call for Yarn, which is Brooklyn Tweed Quarry, I think it's Quarry, which is 165 yards of a chunky weight wool, and Quarry is 100% American Targhee Columbia wool, 200 yards per 100 grams. So I actually really like this, and I have yarn to make a hat for myself, and it is like a really dark gray black. So this took me a couple hours to make, and so you knit it and then at the end you drop the stitches and then you chain them up with a crochet hook, which looked really nice. So I really like this. I'm going to make another for myself, and this is a really good gift hat. I thought it looked really nice, very classy, professional. I made a little pom-pom for my mom's. I used the largest pom-pom that I have, which is the Clover pom-pom set. I think it's the medium set, and I just thought the pom-pom was a little bit too small, so I'm going to put the other pom-pom makers on my wish list, just because making the pom-pom is a lot easier than doing it by hand, and I wanted a bigger one. So that was my first completed quest. Unfortunately, I don't even have any pictures of it, so I can't even show you any pictures. That's one of my resolutions for 2020. I actually don't like to call them resolutions. I like to call them goals. But one of my goals is to be better at posting on Ravelry. Better with my pictures, better with my descriptions of what I did, and better with my stash, because we're getting to the point where I am forgetting what I even have, which is horrible because I love my stash. But okay, so that's one of the things I made as a gift. And then I also finished this hat. This is, I can't remember the designer, and I'm pretty sure it's called the Molly hat, and I'm a big fan. This came out like a lot bigger, like it's pretty dang big. This is a donation hat, and this is, I'm pretty sure this is a Jiffy yarn. I got this in college for free. It was a donation, and I made a blanket out of it, and I just have bits and bobs all over the place of this yarn, which I actually finally got rid of. I sold it. I sold a bag of random ends of yarn for $5, and I felt so good about it, and the ends of this were in there, so I feel good because now I never have to knit with this again, because I've knit a lot with this yarn, this color. So that is another completed. And then the first completed project of 2020 was this hat, which looks a little crazy. Again, the camera always makes it look more pulled than it actually is. Like, I don't think it really pulls at all. This pulls a little bit in person, but on camera, it's like, bam, pulling. So this is the child size of the Bank Head by Susie Gorley. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. Here is the pattern picture. And there we go. So the pattern, when I picked it out, I thought it had a rolled brim. Like, it had, not rolled, but it was a folded up brim. It isn't. So this is just the twisted stitches. To use up more yarn, you could totally make it longer and fold it up. So one of my resolutions or goals of 2020, does not sound so futuristic, 2020, but one of my goals is to knit 52 hats for donation. So this is the first one, so basically one hat a week, and I've completed that one. This is the first one, and like I said, that was the Bankhead hat. And that takes us into current quests. So I have started my next hat, which is another bankhead hat. And this is I think it's one size up from the one that I just did. And there it is. So I'm still using up the pieces of random scraps of yarn that I have in my market basket. I had tried to knit 2 of them together, but it just was coming out so bulky and kind of stupid looking. So I nixed that idea. But this is what I'm working with. So I have this much left on this skein. So my plan is just to knit the brim in this color and then switch to the yellow for the top. I still have some more of this, so I'm thinking of knitting a brim and then yellow on top of it. We'll see. Or I'll just knit another hat in this yarn. Not sure. All I know is I am sick of these colors. I am ready to knit different colors, but I'm working my way through the stash so that I have some donations. I talked about this before, but I printed off a bunch of hat patterns so that I make a couple and then I can jump to a new one and I don't have to spend really any time on the internet figuring out what I want to make. I'm kind of thinking I want a bigger basket, but I'm really trying to stick to that only three different yarns. And then once I finish one, I add another one in. And I feel like if I went to a bigger basket, I might start breaking that rule. Not sure, but still a big fan of this guy. So during my month or the last month since you've seen me, I have done so much sock knitting, which actually I totally forgot. I did finish socks. So now we're all messed up, but let me show you my other completed quest. I have not woven the ends in, but that's okay. But these are my Follow Your Path socks by Kay Litton, who is the Crazy Sock Lady. And this is Happy Fuzzy yarn. It is a 75/25 Corriedale nylon in the color Vesuvius. So it ended up micro striping, but very evenly. So I think it looks just fine. Originally, these were gonna be my Gladys socks, but because of the micro striping, I just was like, nope, I don't want that because the Gladys socks have a very distinct pattern. I also did something different with these, which was I started with 64 for the leg, and then I only did half of what you're supposed to for the gusset, and then I decreased to the 58. I'm pretty sure it's 58. So this is like a medium, and then this is half of what you're supposed to do, and then this is to the small, just to see if these fit better. Because I always find that the part around my feet is really loose, and then the top part on my leg is tighter. So we'll see. But I think they look good. So there is a completed pair of socks. So I did a lot of sock knitting, and I got quite a lot done on my Gladys socks. And here they are. I don't know if you can tell, but I am using my camera again. So I remembered that the focusing was always an issue, but now I can use my phone again while I'm podcasting. So you've got the 2x2 rib, and then kind of these pearl style, and then stockinette, and then this arrow Gansey thing, and then the stitch pattern on the leg, and then the heel. Okay, where are we? Yeah. So then the heel continues with the column pattern, and then the back is the seed stitch. So that was pretty interesting and different from what I normally do. So I'm on the foot. I'm not sure how much further I have to go. I don't think it's that much. I'm knitting with my 9-inch circulars on Hiya Sharps. I want to say these are size 1, a 2.25. The yarn is Knit Picks Hawthorne, speckle fingering City Light speckle. This is all I have left, and I'm not done yet with this sock, which makes me a little bit concerned. And I feel like this ate up a lot of yarn, more than normal. So hopefully I don't run out. I might wade this sock. Actually, I'll weigh the yarn, but so that is what I've got done on this. And then once I had finished the Follow Your Path, I cast on another pair of socks. And that is these guys right here. And this is the Coffee Talk sock by Tracy Miller of the Grocery Girls. And I decided to cast on 58 stitches instead of the 64 that I normally do. So here is that stitch pattern. It is a very dark yarn. I don't know if you'll be able to see the stitch pattern on there. So the yarn is Luna Bud Knits. It is her Buddy base, which is 75/25, and the colorway is Thanatos. I'm not totally sure what that is, but I want to say it's like a superhero. I did purchase this yarn somewhere in Kentucky. I want to say Lexington, but it could also be Louisville. But I feel like it was Lexington. It was when I was still traveling. The contrasting color is this guy right here, which is a mini from the Woolberry Fiber Co. Advent calendar last year. And I just thought it looked so nice with the really dark purple. So another. And for Christmas, I got the mini ChowGoo twists interchangeable set. And I am in love, and that is what I'm using with these guys because I just could not wait to try them out. I have a lot left over from the Follow Your Path. A lot. And this year I really want to cast on, I think it's called the Nor'easterly or Easterly. It's that blanket that is kind of like the chevron-y for scraps. I want to cast that on with my scraps, but I want to manage that by always using gray outside of the other colors. So I have a lot for that. Moving away from socks, in my beautiful bird bag. I love this bag. Love it, love it, love it. This is my boho blush. I did not have a lot done on this because I did not bring this with me. So the last time I showed it to you, I was basically about to start the brioche. So I don't know if you can see, I need to switch out the progress keeper that I have here. It's just a light bulb stitch marker, but I got the brioche done is basically all that has happened. I did all of the brioche while watching Stitching Over the Days. I believe it's called Stitching Over the Days. I was watching her Vlogmas, and yeah, so that's just makes me think of that. The yarn is Cozy Color Works in the brick colorway. I have 3 skeins of it. I don't know if I said, but the pattern is by Andrea Mowry. So it's cast on, we're going. And my weekender has not had any work, really. I don't think so. I think the reason why is because I'm at the point where I need to 3 needle bind them together or something, and whatever it is that I need to do, I have to switch to the smaller needles, which is the smaller needle and the smaller cable. So I just have been lazy and haven't wanted to do that. So I haven't done really anything on my weekender. And the Weekender is by Andrea Mowry as well. And then lastly, I did pull out the crochet blanket that I started, who knows, this year, last year. When I say this year, I mean 2019. But 2019, 2018, I don't know, but here it is. It looks so good. I think this looks so awesome. This is the Mia Fuya. I don't know, I think it's French, but it is from my 100 Colorful Ripples Stitches to Crochet, which is by Leonie Morgan. And the yarn I'm using is Loops and Threads Chameleon in the colorway Gooseberry. I have made another blanket with this yarn in a different colorway, and that one was a lot of fun too, just to see the way the colors came out. This one is grays, white, and then blue. I think that just looks so awesome. So I pulled it out because my friend is pregnant again. Her son is the only son that I have, or child or baby, that I have knit a sweater for. And I was thinking of making a blanket for this new baby, because I feel like the new baby can wear the sweater that I made for her other son, because I feel like he's probably grown out of it by now, so they can share the same sweater that I made. And if it's a girl, I think the sweater I made will look fine on the girl too. So those are all of my current quests. I am excited to work on them. I'm not sure how much progress I'll get. Why is it flashing at me? Ugh, whatever, we'll see. I'm not sure how much knitting I'll get this week, because I am going to be staying with a friend the next 2 weeks. I'll come home for the weekend, but I'm staying with a friend to just ease the commute. I've talked about this before. The commute is at least an hour, and with it being winter, it hasn't gotten bad. It hasn't really snowed. The only time it did snow, I was actually staying in Columbus with a friend again. So I've been pretty lucky so far, but yeah, I'm gonna stay the next 2 weeks. She does have 3 cats, and I'm allergic to cats. So I have some Zyrtec. Basically, I'll be taking Zyrtec every day. But I kind of don't really want the cats to be in my knitting. So I'm not totally sure what I'll do. I might just bring my donation hats to knit, and not anything that I'm gonna wear. Even though I could wash it, but I just don't want to get their cat fur all over my stuff. But yeah, so who knows how much I'll get done in the next 2 weeks. Smaug's Trove. I do just want to show off the 2 full skeins that I got in my Advents. So if you're watching my Vlogmases, where I posted several days at a time, just because, again, the commute, I don't have time to edit my vlog every day. There just isn't enough time. I get home too late in the day, I need to make dinner and, you know, get ready for bed, and then I wake up and drive to work in the morning again, where, you know, I'm getting up really early to be able to get to work. That's basically all I can do. I have not worked out. I've worked out once. I've worked out twice since my half marathon in October. I just don't have the time, and I can't wait to not be doing this commute and that I can be able to get back into working out and all that. But anyway, so I had the Once Upon a Corgi Advent, which was based off of A Court of Thorns and Roses. And the last skein of yarn was Court of Dreams in her penny base, which is her MCN. And it is a deep purple, pinkish red. So there's the pinkish red. Beautiful, love it. Totally my style of color. And then the Sweet Sparrow Yarns was my other advent calendar that I had. And this was in her Nuthatch base, which is 75/25. And the colorway is Cold Hands, Warm Heart. And I have quite a lot of skeins that are just like this because I love this peach brown color. Big fan. So those were the two full skeins. Okay, so let's do the Make 9 review. I'm hoping that I can post the picture from my Instagram of my Make 9 somewhere, maybe over here, and we'll go through them. So I'll just shift. I'm gonna pull them up too so that I can talk about them. And I did bring the ones that I finished. So I don't know what I'm doing. So the first thing that was on my Make 9 is the Weekender sweater by Andrea Mowry. This will be completed in 2020. I would love for this to be done in January, but I'm loving it so far. Really, I already mentioned the only reason why I stopped is because I have to switch needles and it's more than just the tip. It's all of it. So that's why that one's not done yet. The next one is Wool and Honey, also by Andrea Mowry. I bought yarn for this, but I'm not sure, I'm just not convinced that it's the color I want. I definitely still want the sweater though. So I still want to do it, but I have not cast it on. The third thing that was on here, the third sweater, was my Threshold sweater by Melanie Berg, which I did knit complete, and it is right here. I love this sweater, and I've worn it to work already. I've also worn it outside of work. Big fan. If you have thought about knitting the Threshold sweater, I highly recommend it. I don't think I don't know if I've posted anything on Ravelry for this. Maybe. Hopefully. The one thing that I still want to change is this part right here. Do you see that guy? I just want to pull it in. That's about it. It's the only finishing detail I would like to adjust. I don't fold this. This has a hanger. This gets hung up in my closet. I love it. It's beautiful. It is pilling already. Oh well. I need to buy a gleaner. The yarn is Quince & Co. Chickadee in the Glacier colorway. If I were to go back, I would knit it in a different color, but it's okay. The fourth thing, so I did 3 sweaters, 4 shawls, a cowl, and sock was what my Make 9 is. So the fourth thing for shawl is the Boho Blush. Or is it Boho Berry? I want to say it's Boho Blush. Now I'm like second, yeah, Boho Blush. Boho Blush by Andrea Mowry, which is here. It is started. The next thing is On the Spice Market by Melanie Berg, which fell. And this is complete as well. I don't have all the ends woven in, but here it is. Oh. So I did weave some of the ends in, but there it is. There's, you can see some of the ends. I love this. I do need to get those ends in so I can wear it. I think it's beautiful. So finished that guy. The next thing is my Sizzle Pop, which I also finished by Leslie Ann Robinson. And it looks beautiful, and I have worn this. It is so squishy, beautiful. And the yarn I used was Magpie Fibers in London Fog and Velvet Underground. It's either London Fog or London Rain. I always messed it up. Love it. The next thing is the Hula Bear shawl, which I did not cast on. It is the second thing that I did not cast on because I just couldn't find the right yarn for it. I want something rustic, and I just didn't find it. It is definitely still something that I want to cast on and knit though. The next thing was the Newsprint Cowl by Pearl Soho, which I did knit, and I do wear it. There's the center, that's where that's where I carried the yarn up. But I love this thing. I love this thing. This, out of everything, is probably what I wear the most from the things that I knit from my Make 9. I wear this the most. It keeps catching on my nail polish that is chipping off. Fix that a little bit. There. I love this. I have enough yarn to make another one, which I plan to do, and I plan to give it to my mom. Love it. Love it. Love it. It's just so soft. And then the last thing that was on my Make 9 was my Gladys socks, which, as you saw, I'm almost finished with the first one. So all in all, I feel pretty good. I finished 4 of my Make 9, one of which was a sweater. And I started 3. So 7 of the 9 I will have, and then the other 2 I still want to knit. But I don't really have the yarn for it. Though, for the Hula Bear, I might just switch to using the yarn that I bought for my Wool and Honey. Maybe I do that. Okay, so let's now take a tea break. I'm drinking tea out of this little owl mug. And the tea I'm drinking is a coconut raspberry tea that I got in Germany. Okay, I feel like my nose is getting red. So what happens, you just touch a bunch of yarn. For my Make 9 in 2020, I have listed most of the projects, or most of the things that I want. I have the yarn for it. So I already have, as you could say in cross stitching it, kitted up. So the first thing I want to make is the Kobu cap. And the yarn I plan to use for it is this. So this is Artemis Yarns, and it is in her Demeter colorway. This is her Artemis sock yarn, 4-ply, 75/25, and this is her Kid Silk Mohair lace. So hold them together and make that hat. So I'm not 100% convinced that I want to hold them together. So I'm thinking I'll either do it in this, and then I'll have a white mohair, or maybe a red mohair or a pink mohair, or I will use this with like a gray base, something like that. I'm not totally sure if I want both of them together because I like both of them and I feel like they'll just fight for attention. But that's my plan. I either use this one or this one to make the Kobu cap. I did not write who the designer is for these. I just have like a little post-it note. So I will have the information somewhere on the screen for you. The next thing I'm gonna make is my 3-color cashmere cowl. This has been on my list of things to make for years, and I have the yarn for it. bought with the purpose of a 3-color cashmere cowl. It is Sun Valley Fibers, merino cashmere nylon, cheeky smoke signals. Oh, cheeky smoke signals Kent. So those are the colors. So this is going to be my 3-color cashmere cowl. And I have it in a box with a little sticker on the outside. Well, not a sticker, it's a post-it note. So there's that guy. That is by Joji Locatelli. I do know that. The next thing is the Ripple Bra, or Ripple Bralette. And I will be making that out of the Teal Torch Knits in her sock base, which is a 75-25 in the Dancing on Top of Cars. I love this colorway. I picked it up at Vogue Knitting Live in Columbus at the beginning of November. And I wanted to make something with this color. And I figured, yeah, Ripple Bralette would be perfect. Another thing I want, or that's going to be on my Make 9, is the Irving socks by Jacqueline Salem. I don't have a particular sock yarn picked out for that because I just have so many, so I know I'm not going to buy yarn for that. I have something. The next thing is All of the Lights, which is an open cardigan by Joji Locatelli, which I also have yarn for. I special ordered this. This is Fiber Seed in their Sprout DK, which is, it's a 90-10, so merino and nylon, in the color Rustic. And I just grabbed one of the skeins because I didn't feel like I needed to bring all of them. I have 2 sweaters on my list. One of the sweaters is the Neria sweater, which is by Fiber Tales, Leaka. And that is in one of the Lena magazines. And then I have the Durumi sweater, which is in a Pom Pom magazine that I have. So the Neria sweater, I don't know if I have yarn for that. I might do Brooklyn Tweed, not totally sure. And then the Durumi sweater, I want to use Electric Feels by a Homespun House as one of the colors. And then I haven't quite narrowed down the other 2 colors for that. And then what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So then I have an 8th thing, and then the 9 one I'm leaving as bonus because I haven't really decided what it is that I want. So I'm kind of thinking that January, February, I might decide what I want it to be. So then I'll add it. But the last thing for now is the Half Moon Oracle Shawl by Kristen Leha or Vollenvine, and I do have the yarn for that. And the central yarn is her yarn in Blitzed, and the colorway is the Surreal, which this was her Inner Circle Yarn Club based off of the A Court of Thorns and Roses. So this is like a purple and gray with gold stellina. And then I have Malabrigo and Eggplant, which is going to look black to you, but it's purple. And Bad Amy Knits in Charcoal, which is a gray. I'm hoping the gray works out. We'll see if I think that's basically what my hardest thing has been, is what gray I wanted to pair. Like, I know I want these 2, but I just wasn't totally sure about the other color. This may be a little bit too variegated. We'll see. So that is that. So I feel pretty good with my Make 9 2020 because I have the yarn for most of them. Maybe the only one I don't have is Durumi, but I know what I want to work around. So I feel pretty confident with my Make 20. So that plus my 52 hats for the year and donation that I would like to do. Yeah, feeling pretty good. So that takes us to a novel idea, which is where I talk about the books that I have read since I last spoke to you. And overarchingly, I hit my Goodreads goal. I hit it on December 31st. So my Goodreads goal was to read 100 books in 2019, which I did. So my Goodreads goal for 2020 is 101 books. We'll see if I can hit that. I am already behind. Last year I did so. Last year I was ahead the entire year until November hit, and then I fell. But so 101 books is the goal for this year. So the books that I have read since then, I'll post the picture like normal. First one up, Recursion by Blake Crouch. This book was so good. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It's short. It's like 300 pages, like a little bit more than 300. It's great. I highly recommend it. If you're in, so I typically read fantasy more than sci-fi, but I love this. Essentially, you had, without giving too much away, one of our main characters creates an invention because her mom has Alzheimer's and she is wanting to figure out a way to help. Little does she know, this causes so many problems. So it's so good. The beginning is a little slow. Oh, my nose is like really starting to itch here. The beginning's a little slow, not like super slow, but it speeds up at the end. Like, it's so good. We're gonna have another podcast where my nose is bright red. The next book I listened to is Becoming by Michelle Obama. It was really good as well. I really liked it. I feel like so many people have read or listened to it. I really like to listen to memoirs on audiobook because typically it's the author who is reading to you. Becoming is essentially Michelle Obama's life, right? So she talks about growing up in the south side of Chicago, about going to college, meeting Barack Obama, and then the campaigning. I would say you're over halfway before she even, starts to talk about the politics. And I really liked that because this is a story about her, not like her marriage and politics and all of that. So I really like that. And she talks about how, the struggle of not losing your way or not losing who you are when you're, married to someone who becomes the president. So I really liked it. And I would recommend reading it or listening to it. And look how red that nose is. Oh, it is. It's itching. Next book I read was Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave this 3 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and the cast was great. The audiobook was great. I just didn't like the story. I thought Daisy was ridiculous. I thought all the band members were ridiculous. Yeah. I was just irritated with everyone's life choices. I mean, I can tell it was a good book. It was just not the book for me. So 3 stars on that. And then I finished oh my god, my nose. The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. I have actually read this book before, but it was a while. I think right when it came out, I read it. But I decided I needed some quick books to finish, and this was one of them. So I reread it. I gave it a 3-star because I felt like it, just like so many self-help books, it's just like the same phrases repeated over and over and over and over and over. Even though the audio was still only 4 hours, it's like, this could have been 2 hours. There's just so much repetitive, same sentences. The whole does this give you joy? That doesn't really work for me, but listening to any sort of book that's about getting rid of stuff always makes me motivated to get rid of stuff. The last 2 books I did read, start and finish, on the 31st. So the first one was A New York Christmas by Anne Penny. This book was garbage. It was like a Christmas detective, but it had no chapters, and like, I think there's gonna be a murder, or you guess, but literally I know who the murderer was before the murder even happened. Like, it was just so obvious. Yeah, so I wasn't a fan. Also, the insta-love was real stupid, so I'm not gonna read another Anne Perry book, that's for sure. Thought that one was crap. And the last book I read was Die Tochter aus Vercingetorix. I don't know if I pronounced the last word right, but this was an Asterix and Obelix comic, so I read that. A lot of times I don't really give German books any sort of rating because I'm reading it for entertainment, but I'm also reading it to just try and stay something with German. So those were, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books that I read since the last time we spoke. Oh, look at that red nose. And that brings us to life. So I never uploaded the last Vlogmas. I've just been so busy and having headaches. So I just really haven't had time to do it, or the motivation. And now it just seems so late. I think I'm still gonna do it. I'm probably gonna post them simultaneously, edit both of them at the same time. We'll see. I also got an industrial piercing. Can you see that? Is my ear just as red as my nose? There. I got it done yesterday. That is why my ear is red still. Yeah, it's red, I think. Yeah, it looks red. It hurt. Yeah, it hurt when I got it. I've wanted an industrial for years, and a group of people were going and I tagged along. I also had a headache while doing this, so that probably didn't help. The first, so they pierce the top, and normally an industrial is more like having, like, it comes down here. I actually don't really like that. And when she was looking at my ear, I have this piece here that sticks out further, so I can't actually have a standard industrial, which I was like, fine by me, because I kind of want a smaller one. So I'm very pleased. I think it looks very badass-ish, if I do say so myself. I'm going to get a dermal piercing if I can, on this side, and that will be hopefully to help with my headaches or migraines or tension headaches or whatever the heck is happening. One of my friends said that it might even be my neck, so who knows, but it's been bad. I don't remember it being this bad before. Like, I would say I have a headache more than I don't have a headache, which is ridiculous. It hasn't been like, I don't think I've ever dealt with this many headaches this often. So yeah, but I got the piercing. I've also been selling things on Facebook Marketplace because of the move. My goal is whatever I'm selling, all of that money is going to go towards a new couch, because I am not keeping this couch. This is my parents' couch. I hate the color. Like, I hate this color. I would never have picked this color for a couch. Yeah. So I don't know if anyone wants it. Honestly, I would just throw it in the trash. It's so worn out. The benefit of posting things on Facebook is that I don't have to pay someone to pick the stuff up. I posted the table and chairs for $25, which I've had that table and chairs for I think 6 years now. I bought it at Walmart for $100 maybe. The seat cushions I bought last year for $35. So that was like the newest investment, was $35 in seat cushions. So I mean, I got 25 bucks out of it, and really, that's a good deal for someone else to only spend $25 to get a whole dining table and chairs. So win-win. I still have a lot of furniture to get through, a lot of stuff to get through, hopefully to sell. But yeah, so again, next week I'll be in Columbus the week, and the week after that, I've got a dinner to go to. Oh my goodness. A dinner to go to with, for a birthday of my friend. And then, I don't know what else I have planned. I do need to meet up with one of my other friends to still exchange Christmas gifts. Oh, I had friends over for a Rock Band party. Yes. Did any of you guys play Rock Band? I loved Rock Band. So I have the Rock Band Beatles set, but like I have the original Rock Band game, and I put that in and I just watched the opening sequence and it just brought me back. Because that came out, I'm pretty sure I was in high school when it came out, but we played that so much. My brother and I, and even my littlest brother, like we played Rock Band a lot. So I had a party, a couple people came over, we played, and now I know that they all work, so I can sell it. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna end it here and see if I can edit this. I don't know. I feel like this podcast maybe wasn't that long. Maybe. Who knows? Well, I'll know once I edit this. Okay, my nose is red enough, and now I have a mess around me, so I'm gonna end this. Thank you so much for watching. I will hopefully have been dropping my social medias at the beginning to where you can follow me, but we're gonna end it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you hopefully in 2 weeks. Bye.